Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of The Boys Season 3, Episode 1. The show is finally back. Really long wait. I think the producers decided, okay, you know what? We have to give all you guys a gift for this very long period of time. And then you give us that scene with the very tiny man, and a lot of things happen after the fact that cannot be discussed here in fear of demonetization.
I am so excited. I have been missing the boys, my Billy Joel fix. I got it all. This episode brought me everything that I've been missing about the show so much. I mean, they really just are firing on all cylinders. They have held nothing back. They have brought back all the gruesomeness, all the sort of humor about it, everything that I missed about the show. It's all back.
I want to see what was on like the whiteboard that all the writers
I
had leading into
know.
the season where they're like, all right, give us your sickest ideas, go.
And here's the Barbie having things
Oh,
happen to it. No, there
ah.
was so many things that I was just like, oh my goodness, I can't look, but I'm looking.
All right, we're gonna talk all about the boys, what worked in this episode, what maybe didn't, kind of project where some things could go from here. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. I know we're getting a nice big collection of episodes right away. We're
Yeah.
going to have reviews of all of those, plus everything else moving forward this season.
We are also covering Obi-Wan Kenobi here at the channel, so make sure you check that out. If you're watching that, we are also watching that. Lots of good stuff coming up. Animal Kingdom, House of the Dragon later this summer. There's a lot. So hit that subscribe button. Follow us over on Instagram at Matt and Jess TV.
Okay, I think we should just start at the very end and just like that's my illustration of what exactly happened with Victoria Newman, aka Nadia.
Okay, listen, like things are going really well for Huey. He's got, a job that he feels really good at. He's dating Starlight. He helped take down Stormfront. He's kind of like this big deal around the office. He's feeling good. He's got a good relationship going on with Victoria as well. And then I am so glad that they actually had Huey find out that she is a secret soup in the first episode. I was kind of worried they were going to have a couple episodes leading up to it, but they didn't. They let him know right away. This is the deal, that she's secretly used to be known as Nadia. Her best friend Tony has been trying this whole episode to get to her, to be like, remember Red River, we need to expose this. So I think that that's going to be a big part of sort of the mystery of this season. What is Red River? Why did she feel she needed to kill this best friend? What is it that's hiding and happened to him or happened to them?
It's clear, I think, just from the get-go here that Nadia's got a lot of serious skeletons in the closet, but I think she developed this new identity and got herself in this position that she's in because she thinks, okay, you know what? I can enact change. I can really bring things around and make them perhaps better, but better is, of course, the operative term here if we think that she is like a truly benevolent figure. And I'm not altogether sure she is. Like, she just may want power for herself through all of this and also trying to cover up anything that may have happened to her along the way.
Yeah, I mean, when we first saw Victoria last season, it wasn't exactly clear, is she the new villain? Is she a villain at all? And, with a little bit of this reveal, it's kind of like, I'm starting to wonder if she's maybe went through something at this Red River, and then she was like, you know what? I'm going to try to find a way to make change, and maybe not with my superpowers, but with other powers. And now she's in Congress. And, that's a big theme of this show. And especially this season, they really hit that a couple times in this episode, that superpowers, yeah, they're powers and you can have power with it, but real power comes from influence, which is, obviously very topical with today's society and how big influence is and influencers are, or politicians and what they're able to do in society more so than a superpower. And we saw that with her as well, where it's like, yeah, she has superpowers, but she's in Congress and she's been able to influence a lot of other stuff. We saw the conversation with Stan Edgar where he was talking to Starlight and Homelander, was like, listen, we're going to have co-captains because Homelander, your reputation's a bit tarnished here after everything with Stormfront. But, Starlight's numbers are really high. And she's like, no, I'm not interested. And he had a very honest conversation with her. Again, your powers are something, but your influence is humongous. And it is really the thing that can make change.
My worst case scenario fear here with Victoria, if Victoria is really the big bad of this season, is just this idea of she's going to use this influence to try to sort of eradicate all of the quote unquote problem soups that are out there. And then she sort of becomes one of the, not the last soup standing, but a smaller percentage of soups that are still around. And then she can use her powers more effectively if need be. But if not, hey, she gets to be sort of the queen of the castle here. We don't know how far her political aspirations go. I'm sure it's not stopping at Congress.
No, it probably isn't. But right now, she is seemingly working with this task force to take as many soups off the street as possible. And I mean, it sounds like, with everything she's been doing, her numbers are going up because she's had less crime, more soups in jail kind of thing, or put away or whatever. And it is working out for her.
I'm fascinated by this angle. I like that we're going in this direction because it now feels like we have like legitimate different power players that are each all trying to yield some sort of influence to get what they want. We have Victoria, we have Stan Edgar, who, of course, Giancarlo Esposito always has to be like the smartest person in every single room, no matter what role he plays.
Speaking of him, we are also covering Better Call Saul this summer. We've already done the first half of this last season. It's coming back in July. So if you're a fan of him, you're a fan of Better Call Saul, we're also covering that here at the channel. But no, I mean, he's seemingly having some other plans going on. He wants to sell this new version of Compound V, which will be like a 24-hour version that will give people superpowers for a short period of time. And he wants to sell it to the army. And he has he's given this story. We don't know how much truth there is to it, that he's kind of like, the days of babysitting these superheroes that are doing all these ridiculous things, I've made my money from that. That was a mistake. We're moving on. I want this to be a more serious business. 5 years from now, the 7, all that is going to be donezo. And this is the future. And it's just going to be, for the army. And I'll sell it to you for $2 million a vial. I was like, woo!
Yeah.
That is hefty.
This is going to be a fascinating story the more we sort of find out about it, because there is like a major school of thought in my head here. I'm like, this is a really terrible idea, Stan Edgar. Like, you don't know what these people are going to do with these powers. Yes, they will be done within a day, but a day is a long period of time to inflict some really terrible things.
It's all about money, and that's the thing, right? Like, I think with Homelander's star, falling, and we've got Starlight, and her star is the highest that they've ever had, the biggest rating that they've had for one of their soups. I think he's looking bigger picture. How can I make more money? It's, again, very topical for this day and age of, all the billionaires and the money and how much more can they get. And I think that that's where he's going. He sees an opportunity to make a ton more money.
This is where I think things will get really fascinating, because I'm starting to wonder if Starlight continues to be this popular, and I think in a higher position, she's an inherently good person. I think she's going to continue to try to do good things, but is Stan Edgar hoping that, is Homelander on some level going to sabotage her? Is he going to sabotage her? But because if he wants, the 7 and these big name soups to eventually go away, he's got to find a way to make people dislike Starlight a little bit more than they do right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's when he was pitching that, I was kind of like, is he actually telling the truth of this is where he wants to go with it? Or is he just telling this guy this so that he will buy the pitch, right? Because he obviously wants the army to be taking this. But he is making money over here as well. Is there a universe where it all works out, where he lies over here to get what he wants and kind of lies over here to get what he wants? Stan is about money and power.
This is what's great about Stan, and the great thing is because they're not really giving us like a scene of Stan Edgar by himself, we don't actually know where he stands. It's just, we have to hear the different stories that he tells different people and try to figure out where he wants things to go as a result of that.
Okay, let's talk about Homelander.
Oh boy.
I know there's been a poor Homelander.
Oh god. All right.
So he's been basically on not an apology tour, but like I didn't know. They're trying to fix his reputation. He's basically, YouTubers giving the apology videos over and over again with their excuses of, I just didn't know. I'm just human like you. I just love people like you. I'm just like you. I'm like, okay, come on.
Oh boy. Okay. The Homelander is a delight to watch. He's also the last person I would ever want to be around ever. He is just like a horrific person. And I mean, credit to Anthony Starr for finding a way to actually continue to play this guy. Everything in this episode with Homelander just disturbed me to absolutely no end. I mean, including the idea that, all right, Stormfront apparently is still kind of sort of out there. This is probably the biggest issue I have with this episode, honestly, is just like the way that they sort of sold what happened to her at the end of season 2. I didn't think she would be even able to communicate. I didn't think they would be putting her in a position where Homelander could even get in contact with her at all. But clearly, big shock, everyone, he hasn't really learned that much.
No, and I'm not. This is my bit of beef with it too, is that she is still alive and she's still around. And that was a big thing with last season, again, with influence and how much influence she had. And it's still so much influence that a year later in this story, she still has influence, that even though she's not out there, there are still groups of people that are, spreading her message and pushing her ideas forward. But when we see the two of them together, he's really just using her to be able to continue to feel like, don't worry, you're okay. Let's pat your ego. Everything's going to be all right. You're still the guy, but I need you to push my message, where he's still like, I'm not interested in what you're interested in pushing. I've never been. I am the person that everyone should be like.
I will say, I loved the start of this episode so much because it took me a couple of seconds to realize what was going on, and I was just like, why does Stormfront look different? Like, why is she blonde now? And then I was like, oh, of course, Vought is going to make a movie out of this to show that Homelander did nothing wrong and that he could still be trusted.
No, they did a really good job with that, where they were really trying to fix his whole image and be like, let's have the movie about it to show that, he really had nothing to do with this, to put him on the tour, to really explain it, but none of it's working. I think once you're attached to someone like Stormfront, nobody wants to be associated with that for all the right reasons. So we see also, Deep is doing all right. He's even moving up, where he gets the first spot on this show and Homelander is second. And he's just like, how is this happening to me? And it's snowballing after that with the whole, you're going to need a co-captain now. You're just not strong enough on your own to lead this team.
I have to say, the stupidest, funniest moment of the episode in this was learning that the Deep's book is titled Deeper, because of course it's titled Deeper, and it was so stupid, and I don't know why I laughed as much as I did.
I wish there was a way to bring him back to the 7. I really enjoyed him being part of that group, and it's been a little bit more difficult with him being away from the group that to justify why he is still part of this story, because he's not really part of anything anymore of the main story. He's just like, he's such a good character. He's not part of the 7 anymore. How can we continue to use him?
That is a weird part of the 7 right now, kind of in general, where it's like Maeve has a little bit to do, A-Train has a tiny bit to do, but like Black Noir is just like used as just like a runner. By the way, here's Black Noir on the red carpet. What's Black Noir gonna say to you on the red carpet? He's just gonna stand there?
Yeah, and that was one of the things that Stan offered Starlight as well.
Yeah.
You know, the option to be part of a reality show where we find new members of the Seven, which
Yeah.
again, very topical. This is absolutely something that would happen.
It would totally happen. I will say it. I don't know if this is a hot take, but does Supersonic suck? Because I kind of feel like he does. I don't really like this guy. He's just annoying. He's too much like the quintessential superhero bro. And Huey, I get it. I get why you're irritated with him because so am I.
Yeah, I understand why he would be kind of feeling a little bit threatened, but after Starlight sits down with him and is
Yeah.
basically like, you have nothing to worry about. Like, it's us. And
Yeah.
he still is taking jabs at it. I feel like they're kind of trying to set this up as okay, I'm going to throw this
All
out
right.
there. I don't know if this is where they're going with this, but with everything going on with Starlight and his own jealousy, that's going to end up eating away at his own mind. And then we saw everything with, there's a really nice back and forth with him and Victoria. Listen, we all know what just happened at the end of this
Yeah.
episode, but there's been sort of this building of she's taking his sandwich, ha ha ha,
Yeah.
not really flirting, but there's a very natural chemistry between these two. Are they trying to set it up that maybe he's going to start being a little bit over here after she explains away what she just did to Tony? I don't know. I don't think so, but as I was watching, I was kind of like,
It's the boys. Like anything is possible. I don't think we can rule that out. Like, I want to see Annie and Huey work because I like the chemistry with the two of
I do
them.
too.
Like, I think there's something there. Like, yeah, he's got to get over a lot of the problems that he's having. And, I understand it can be easy to be insecure when you're not a soup and, she's a soup and here's Supersonic who's a soup and, they have this history together, all that. I get that. But they've got to find a way to try to work on things. And it's going to be really, really tough now, especially because, Butcher and the boys, they're still around. They're still like, trying to find a way to get to Huey in their own way as well.
Yeah, it seems like Butcher's been doing fairly well. He's managed his anger. He hasn't been killing soups. He's stopped drinking. He's really cleaned up. And, what is the reason for that? And it seems like it might be that he's cleaning up for Ryan, even though he's not with him all the time. Grace is looking after him, but he is still going up there and having conversations with him where he's kind of like, man, I've been, having all these nightmares about my dad, Homelander, coming in and that sort of feeling that has Butcher cleaned up for him? Has he cleaned up for himself? Is he cleaned up because Becca's dead? Is it all of it? And I think it's a little bit of every column.
I think so too. I think he wants to be a good dad. I think this is the soft core of Billy Butcher. I think the problem is just he's got like, a lot of people have like one devil on their shoulder. He's got like five, and it's very easy for one of those five to come back at any given moment.
Yeah, I think Butcher has just found a little bit of a balance. I know Huey called him out to kind of be like, you just need to kind of find your way to be happy. And I think right now he has found some things, a little bit, of Ryan, a little bit of being sober. Yeah, he's being able to control his anger a little bit, but he's still finding ways to put away soups. He is working a little bit with Huey. We saw that Queen Maeve is coming in and giving, Butcher information because they were talking about the termite who we mentioned,
Oh boy.
a little bit at the beginning of this episode that they were trying to get him to bring him in. And it all ended up turning out the way sometimes these things seem to turn out, which ends up frustrating everyone, where it's like, termite is a target. We are going to bring him in and we are going to get justice for him. And now we're going to dry him out and give him a deal, some sort of commercial deal. And instead you're going to get these smaller D-listers where it's like, yeah, you didn't get him, but you got three other guys, where it's kind of like, well, I guess that's the deal. I guess I feel good for me.
Maeve and Butcher, it's so weird in that I think they're very different, but I think philosophically, I think they both have kind of similar sensibilities in that they are imperfect people who know it's an imperfect world and they have to sort of figure out how to make do with the cards that have been dealt with them. Because I think Maeve Maeve's got to be frustrated being in an organization with Homelander sort of as the leader, and I think she wants to try to find a clearer path and a better path somehow. And here is Butcher, who kind of sort of wants some of the same things, but clearly not all of the same things.
Yeah, the one thing they both want is Homelander dead. And that's obviously with this show, we can't have Homelander
No.
dead. I mean, that's just isn't going to work out. However, that seems to be the theme that the two of them have. And this is the connection where she's like, okay, listen, you want him dead. I want him dead. You know, she wants to make things better for the Seven, for the world. She knows what he's capable of and she wants it to stop. So it seems that they have this, she's bringing this plan where she's like, okay, listen, here are 3 vials of this 24-hour soup power that's sort of tested, sort of not. All the best to you.
Yeah.
But you're going to need it because there's this guy, Soldier Boy, who was basically like a Homelander and had a lot of the same sort of super strength and whatever. And he's gone, allegedly dead. And it's kind of like, okay, well, whatever was able to kill him, and I keep using this because I mean there's been spoilers out, pictures of him. Soldier Boy ain't dead, so we all know that already. They don't, but they're kind of like, okay, if he's dead, whatever killed him could kill Homelander, but the only people that are gonna know that is his crew, which is Crimson Countess, who we haven't met yet, and they were together, and Gunpowder, who was kind of his sidekick. But Maeve's kind of like, they won't talk to me, but they don't know you, so they'll talk to you.
It's going to be fascinating to sort of see where a lot of this goes, because, I mean, the key art already shows you a Butcher with, like, glowing eyes, and from, like, the teases. It's fair to say he probably takes this at some point or another, and this could be a bridge to getting to see, you know, him interact with some of these other people. And I'm stoked to see Soldier Boy. I mean, who doesn't want to see Jensen Ackles just be like evil, or however Soldier Boy is going to be? We'll find out very, very soon. I just worry, of course, Butcher, you have been slightly less unhinged. You get like that taste of power. What is that going to do to you?
Yeah, and especially with that last sort of scene with him sitting down with Homelander, where Homelander was just, obviously Homelander has another agenda. He wants his son, so that's really what this is about. But he is sitting down with him to kind of be like, hey, you know, we're both cast aside, we're both angry, we both want the same thing, kind of thing. And I think that's really gonna be the motivation that Butcher needs to actually take it, because we saw him about to pour, you know, this 24-hour compound V down the drain, but you know, we know he's not going to. We have seen the key art that's got the glowing eyes. He's gonna take it.
Homelander is totally like that guy who thinks that he's like a master manipulator, and every now and then he'll get these wins, and then the rest of the time he's just gonna screw it up. It's like, yeah, I think he got through to Butcher enough to probably convince him to take this compound, but I think it's sort of like, Homelander, dude, you're probably not going to get more than that. Butcher's not going to be your friend. Whatever else you want from him, whether you're just like pouting because Starlight is now leading the Seven with you, you've always wanted to sort of have your way, even though you leading your own way would be a total disaster in every way, shape, or form. I don't want Homelander to die, but I am going to relish every single second of every part of his downfall, and it will be glorious.
Yeah, he can have a downfall that's not death. And I wonder if we're kind of going there with him. You know, we've already seen a little bit of it, but, you know, is it going to get worse? Are we going to sort of see him at a deep level where, you know, everything that happened to him and he was so cast out, to see him try to figure it out? Because he really has been insulated with yes men, yes women that are just like, you're the greatest, everything is awesome. This is really the first time that, you know, he hitched his wagon to the wrong soup, and now it's destroyed his own reputation, and now nobody is really holding his hand anymore, not even Stan, nobody.
I'm so excited to see where things go with him, with Huey, with everybody. It's a really great premiere. Hopefully we get more of some other people like Frenchie, Mother's Milk, you know, characters who just like a tiny bit of screen time here. But there's more to come. Hit that subscribe button so you guys don't miss any of that. I dare say these videos are going to be quite super. See, okay, we're 24 minutes in. I can tell a joke that terrible at this point. No one can stop me. All right, well, follow us on Instagram, Matt and Jess TV, and we'll see you here next time.